Namaste everyone. This is Hasti Masti Hansi. Welcome to Hansi from Home. As I said in my introduction, I'm going to be doing some talks on various different categories to share with you my journey and see if it will help anyone else on the way. So, this first season, I thought I'd decide to do it on books. So, today's talk is on really one of the very first books I think I picked up, which led me to continue the journey about discovering how my mind works and the fact that you can actually control it if you want to. And you can learn various different techniques to keep your mind calm, different breathing techniques, mindfulness, and so on. It's all the sort of things that I picked up later on. But about 5 years ago, when this journey started for me, I picked up a book. I was in a waiting room, and various different categories of books in this sort of library corner. And for something drew me to a book called Mind Calm, which was written by Sandy Newbegin. And something must have drawn me to that book. I guess I always knew that I used to think quite a lot. I always knew I had quite a busy mind, but I never thought that it was something that one could actually teach themselves to change. I always thought that was who I was, and that perhaps many other people were the same as well. But once I started reading this book whilst I was in the waiting room, um, as soon as I read like page one, I thought, oh my God, this is me. This is how my mind works. Because this author, before he taught you techniques, he was explaining how your mind works, how you're generally wired right from years ago from evolution, and how naturally our minds are have reactions such as fight and flight, what that actually means scientifically and neurologically. Also talked about the chatter that goes along in your brain, that there's somebody else talking, or yourself, your conscience saying things, and why it says these things. It could depend on so many things, in particularly to do with your upbringing and all the experiences you've had in life. But anyway, this book called Mind Calm really, really did start to resonate with me, and I haven't read for quite a long time. And for me to pick up a book and not want to put it down, that was something else. But it was just the fact that I could recognize myself on every page. I could recognize the description the author was describing that was happening in my mind. And I thought, my God, somebody understands me. Somebody understands, or this book understands what's going on in my mind. And I knew as I went further into the chapters, it would explain techniques of what I could do to calm the mind. And it was a particular type of meditation that this author describes. But of course, there are many different types. And when we say the word meditation, I'd just like to add, a lot of people just tend to automatically think, meditation is something that you sit in the corner and go, and of course it's not that at all. People can meditate for minutes, for hours, and for days, and there's so many different versions of it. So as we look through other books and other parts of my learning, you'll hear me talk a little bit more about these types of things. But as today's subject is on books, I did want to recommend that particular book, and it can be any book, to be honest. It doesn't have to be that author. As I've found later in my journey, when you go to a library, there's YouTube, all sorts of places you can get information now. You just type the word, any word in Google, and it will come up with hundreds and hundreds of different types of authors and categories, sometimes too much, I found. But pick up something which relates to you, something that is written in a language that you feel you understand, because everybody's intellect is different. The way people connect to a book is very different. Different authors have different styles. But for me, this one was quite an easy read. And it really did just give me a really sort of initial introduction of what people do and think about when they are meditating. Um, the other books, also, he wrote Sandy Newbegin. I can't say his surname. Is Sandy Newbegin. Um, has written many other books, but a couple of others that came straight after Mind Calm was a book called Body Calm, and another book called calm cure. And it's very, very fascinating because what Sandy speaks about is how doing this particular type of meditation can actually help you heal your body. So when you're calming your mind and you're meditating, what you're doing is you're stopping those negative chatters and negative thoughts, which actually, as I mentioned in my introduction, is a kind of poison really. When you have a negative thought, chemically, neurologically, it filters into all your veins and every aspect of your being. And many people would believe that lots of medical conditions, diseases, illnesses are linked to the mind. And whilst I fully appreciate there are certain conditions that are biological and people cannot be cured from them purely through natural holistic means and meditation, it's certainly said by many people that having a calm mind and being able to breathe so slowly and generally meditate once again can overall help your well-being, and for some people it can also cure certain conditions. So Sandy, in this book, which was Calm Cure, actually writes on a couple of his chapters about certain conditions that one has, particularly things like, as an example, skin conditions and dietary problems, and how they may have been linked to something that's happened in your childhood, and then how that is manifesting inside you, and how that connects to the mind. So I appreciate this could be getting quite complex for some people and quite deep. But I guess in today's talk, I really want to just mention that there are many books that talk about how your mind works, an introduction to meditation, or even mindfulness, which we'll talk about in another show, how that can help. So the thing to do really is to just pick up something that you can relate to and start reading it. Now, if you find reading isn't really your thing, there is audio these days, so you can listen while you're cooking or while you're sitting, while you're gardening. There are ways of doing two things at once, and that's okay. You will get through the book faster, but it isn't quite the same as reading, as people will tell you, the ones who enjoy reading, because you do get opportunity, I guess, more when you're reading to slow down, go back on sentences and things that didn't quite sink in, whereas in audio, I found, whilst it was much faster, it's a bit frustrating to click the rewind 60 seconds button and things like that, while you got your hands with chapati flour and things like that. But anyway, either way will work. At least you're doing something. So that's today's short chapter and my first show really on books. What I would ask anyone listening is, what was your first book? And on this particular type of journey of self-help and a journey on your personal growth, please do put your recommendations in the comments box. And as always, if you would like to follow me, then just like my page Hansi or the group, and I'm on YouTube as well. And please do like and share so more and more people can join in these shows that I'll be continuing to do every week. So until the next show from Hansi, it's Nacho Gao Ane Hastaraho from the inside and out.